But we've been talking this morning about Dick Cheney saying that he's making the world less safe, and Joe Biden's response. Do you agree with Dick Cheney that Barack Obama, the president, is making the world less safe?
Too early to tell, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I mean,
that's a great response. It is
too early to tell.
I don't think it's a political. It's an honest response. I mean, you just don't know. His trip has had good parts and bad parts. Good parts were it has created a lot more goodwill for America. He seems to be very well liked. The bad parts are he seems to be weakening our approach. And ultimately you do need them not only to like you, but also to respect you and to be somewhat afraid of you.
Why is it an either-or? How is he weakening our approach? Why is it an either-or situation?
Well, first of all, the tape that he sent into Iran, terrible mistake. I mean, I have some knowledge of terrorism and how it operates. Worst thing you do is sort of beg them to negotiate because they take advantage of you. Not a strong enough reaction.
Well, wait a minute.
Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Not a strong enough reaction in North Korea. While he's doing nice in Europe.
What should he have done?
Well, he should have taken measures to take very, very strong financial action against them. He should have lined up other governments.
No, specifically, what should he have done? Should he have embargoed the country? In that instance, what should he have done?
And he should have gotten Russia and China to, if we are making friends with these people, if we're going to be nice to them, then we expect something back in return for them. It's not a one-way street. If we're going to be nicer to Russia, nicer to China, then we expect them to be on our side when we have an issue like this. It seems to me that the Bush administration accomplished more with China than so far the Obama administration has been with North Korea than the Obama administration has been able to accomplish. The six-party talks back a year ago, you remember some very conservative Republicans were criticizing Bush for this, had really gotten North Korea to the table.
Slamming him.
Yeah.
What?
Daily. Bolton.
Yes. Yeah. Now, Bolton may be right or wrong, but the reality is the Bush administration had pushed it much further. They seem to be retreating now, becoming much more aggressive.
Mika, you
and they respect, and remember, they respect only a very, very strong position. They do not respect videotapes being sent into their countries, talking about negotiating. We'll all be friends and we'll have a peaceful world.
Well, I don't think that's exactly what he was saying in the videotape, but don't you need to set the bar? And then when they don't meet the bar, you respond. And I feel like that's what that tape was about.
That's the part that we don't know the answer to. So far, there hasn't been a strong response to what North Korea did. Maybe there will be. So we leave that open.
Mr. Mayor, we were talking earlier, and clearly you need the hammer. But is it fair to say the way we have looked at the world, where we are the hammer, has got to change? And clearly in his first 11 weeks, the message out there of, you know what, we are the states, do not mess with us, but a little more hands across the ocean. I mean, you are the ultimate law and order guy. Isn't that the right strategic move at this point,
It is if the first part is going to happen, but I'm not sure it is. I mean,
why is it
I haven't seen it. Well, because sending a videotape message into Iran and the language and the tone of that message, in my view, is the kind of thing that terrorists look at and say, we can take advantage, we can push. North Korea goes ahead.
Let's go specifically. What did he say in there that a terrorist would be cheered by?
He didn't talk about any of the things that we need from them. He didn't use it as an occasion to talk about, like Ronald Reagan. If Ronald Reagan got a chance to throw a message into Russia, he would say some nice things about them, but he'd also talk about their loss of freedom. Let's think about the way women are treated. He gets a chance to talk to the Iranian people and doesn't talk about the way women are treated so unequally, so unfairly, the way people have been executed there for no reason at all. He's talking to a dictatorship. He's not talking to a liberal democracy. If you listen to that, you would think he was talking to a liberal democracy.
But if you buy into what many people across a broad political spectrum truly believe, that of all the countries in the Middle East, the Iranian people are more inclined to be an ally of America. Forget the mullahs.
Right.
That he's talking to the people.
That's a good point. And that's exactly why he should have given a stronger message. Imagine if he had talked to Poland or Czechoslovakia or Ukraine 15 years ago and talked about how wonderful civilization, wonderful people, great people, we want to be friends with you, end of message. And not talking about lack of freedom of religion, oppression of women. In essence, I think it turns off
sponsorship of terrorism since 1979.
I think it turns off the reformers when they listen to a one-sided message and they don't hear a very, very strong language about what's going on inside their country.
So you would characterize that as a complete misstep?
I think it was a mistake. A complete misstep. I think it was a mistake. It needed balancing language about his recognition of the complete lack of freedom within Iran, even as a strong message to the Iranian
But you're
people.
making it, that's the only message, you're putting that in a vacuum. Isn't that maybe just one strategic salvo to almost overemphasize it?
You get one chance to talk to the people of Iran. They're watching. You want to create a reformist element in Iran, and you don't speak to that?
I almost
big
want,
gap.
I want to overcompensate in that direction. Keep your friends close, your enemies closer.
This is why terrorists would say we can take advantage of a guy like that. He doesn't get. Now, maybe they won't. Maybe he'll balance it with another message. But if you're asking me, do I think that was an effective message? I think the failure to talk about what's wrong within Iran would actually tell the reformers we don't have somebody who understands what's going on.
All right, before we go, we got to ask you. Obviously, you're a man of great courage.
Yeah, okay.
David Patterson.
Oh, he's getting ready.
Is one of David Patterson is one of the most popular governors in New York State history. Will you take him on as governor?
It would be tough.
I thought Barnicle was going to hit me with the Yankees start in one game.
That's later.
Well,
That's later.
He's sending me notes. He's sending me notes.
I saw that.
Governor?
One game.
Going to run for governor?
I have no idea.
No.
Is it a potential?
Way too.
So you're saying you might?
I'm not going to say yes. I'm not going to say no.
How about president?
I'm not going to say no to anything. Why should I say no to anything?
How about controller of something? Give him something.
I think
give him something.
You know what?
run for governor.
New York State's a good start. By the way, did you see the cover of the New York Observer this week with Patterson operating on a subway car? Oh, it's horrible.
It's tough being in public office, Joe.
It's a bizarre call.
They're starting to make phone calls around New York saying, hey, congratulations, you're eligible for a bailout of your mortgage. And then yesterday was you're eligible for a credit card bailout, and you're eligible for this, and you're from New York State.
Speaking of calls, as former mayor, I didn't like what I read that Bloomberg allegedly did. He had people calling what was seemed to be a marketing poll all over New York, and as part of the poll, they were dissing Weiner, who, for those around the country, is probably going to be his adversary. I mean, that was real lowball stuff, and Bloomberg does not have to do that. Look, he's laughing. Imagine that, right?
This happens in politics all the time.
Really?
I don't know what it was, but you ask negative questions about your opponent to find out, can I attack him here? Can I attack him there? I mean,
no, but it wasn't. The point was that they were really campaigning against him, not as research, but that was their clever way.
That's like, James Carville doing a push poll and targeting Rush Limbaugh and passing that on to the White House, so the White House used that push poll to attack Rush Limbaugh.
Very good point.
Thank God we're putting childish things behind us. Yes. What's next?
Mayor Giuliani.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for being with us.
For being
Sorry about Sabathia's start. God, that's a lot of wasted money.
Baseball,
Red
more than one game.
It's just not going to get any better.
They're hot.
It's not going to.
Donny, thanks a lot as well.
My pleasure.